Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And I was thinking about doing this another day. I had spoken to my team about doing this specific topic because this topic is a little bit odd. It's like a TikTok topic, but TikTok is super popular, particularly with women, with men too, but particularly with women. Lots and lots of women I know, but almost every woman I know somehow views TikTok either on a regular basis or here or there, or at least knows about it. Many women I know are somehow on TikTok. And with that in mind, there's a thing that exploded on TikTok a couple years back that I would see videos every once in a while about, which I thought was a little bit odd or even dangerous in a way. I use that word. That's what they would say, dangerous, right? Dangerous. I feel like I'm one of them now. So one of those or something like that. And I just started thinking, is this another piece of backlash? What I mean by that? For those of you who know, the fat acceptance movement has been very popular. It began as a body positivity movement. Again, as we've just spoke about just yesterday, the idea is of good intentions. And I think the intentions of the body positivity movement were very good intentions. They were things like it doesn't matter what type of body you have, whether you've had an accident and it's affected your body or your face, whether you were a military veteran and you had some catastrophic damage due to a terrible thing happened to you overseas, whether you just had a botched problem with your face or whatever the case may be, right? All the things. The concept was you should be proud of your body. It is who you are, and so and so. And I think that. Great. That's great. Now, as always, what happened? That moved into fat people. Yes, it did. And you might go, Larry, that's being cruel. No, it isn't being cruel. It's true. It's what happens, right? It's what happened with everything. The fat acceptance movement took everything. And why I got upset about it personally is because then it took race. Yes, if you know the the body positivity movement, it moved into fat acceptance. Now, I'm not against fat acceptance at all. If you are heavy, fine. And I define fat as however you define. If you think you're fat, you're fat. You don't, you're not. You think you're heavy, you're heavy. You think you're obese, you're obese. I don't care. It's up to you. You decide your body, your choice in all aspects, including that one. So just enjoy, right? You do you. I'm not concerned about this issue. The problem is when you start to say, and this is what happened, two things happened that bothered me in the fat acceptance movement. One was, well, fat acceptance is if you don't accept us, you're fat phobic. Boy, did that piss me off. Another one that now you're a bad guy. Well, no, maybe you don't like people who are heavy. It's fine. You don't have to. You do you. There are some, particularly men, who love heavy women, and good for them. No worries. Sometimes, people, that's their preference. Good for you. But they didn't say that. They said, if you don't like fat people, then you're a bad person, right? And that bothered me. And then they went to say, well, it's because racism. I'm not joking. Fat acceptance became because racism. That made me upset. I didn't like either of those two things, right? So look, if you don't like people who are heavy, I don't care. If you love them, I don't care. But don't call someone bad because they don't. By the way, I happen to like what I will define as thick women. That's my definition. And I happen to like women who are a little bit thick. I'm okay with that. People who know who I've been with, no, I don't mind thick women at all. I'm totally fine with that. So I'm not one of those people who's, I guess, fat phobic or whatever the word is. That's not me. But it doesn't matter. You are able to be if you want to. You don't have to like heavy women if you don't want to. Who cares? And why am I saying women? Because it's only about women. It's not about men. This is a woman's movement. I don't mean to be mean, but it is. And that's the second thing that bothered me. It became a movement to where if you weren't a heavy woman, then you couldn't be part of the movement. Literally, like you couldn't be an ally. You couldn't be a man. You couldn't be a woman who wasn't very big. You couldn't be a thin woman. You couldn't be that. All of a sudden, you were excluded. This was only for fat women. That's what it became. Didn't like any of that. So what does that mean? Now there's a backlash. And the backlash from fat acceptance, I think, is a thing called Skinny Tok. Skinny Tok is people now going on saying, I'm skinny, I'm cool, you're jealous. You should do this. And if you're big, you're bad. That's Skinny Tok. And you might go, Larry, why the hell do I care about Skinny Tok? I'm not on TikTok. Because TikTok affects our culture. If you don't think so, you're not paying attention. You don't have to pay attention, but it's absolutely true. It's 100% true. Mike brings it up perfect. Mike, see, you read my mind. The minute to love obese is like the minute to love date trans. Correct. The order was given by unnamed elected elites to obey. At the core, it's authoritarian control, and the popularity is a test of reach. True, and that's my problem, Mike. You're totally correct. Look, if you like trans people or you want to date a trans woman or trans, good for you. Enjoy. You do you. But I have to? I don't. I'm not required to. I don't have to. Mike doesn't have to. No one has to. If that's your thing, good on you. Totally correct. And that's why this matters, because this goes further than that. See, Mike gets it. It goes further than that. You might think, who cares about fat acceptance? Who cares about Skinny Tok? Because it goes to trans. It goes to what you can say. It goes to what you can do. It goes with mandating of everything. It goes with cancel culture. It goes down all those roads. Now, my worry is, though, that the opposite will happen. My worry is now we'll go to Skinny Tok, and now we're going to help women try to go crazy, not eating, crazy, getting super skinny. Look, again, you want to be super skinny, good on you. I don't want the opposite happening either. But yes, they're all bad. A quick video, a couple minutes. This is a longer video. The video is linked. So if you want to watch the full video, feel free. This woman's a wonderful woman. I like her. She's smart. She's savvy. You can watch if you want to. I'm only going to watch like a minute of it, 2 minutes of it, and cover this issue. But you can watch the whole thing if you want to. So let me pass this over fast. And she gives a pretty good concept of what she was concerned about and the difference between the two real fast. It's an interesting video. So you can check her out. Her name is Michelle, by the way. So, alrighty, here she is.
Fat Talk, a place that you can go where there's no shame. You can eat as much as you want, walk as well as you want to, and if you don't really want to move, you don't have to.
Hi, friends and haters. This is what I eat in a day as a fat person.
No.
See, this is what it's about to become. I'm better than you because I'm fat. Not, hey, I'm fat and I'm proud of myself. Good for you if you are. No. I'm better than you because I'm fat.
No one's going to shame you for that. But there is a place that many people are rolling on out of Fat Talk and going into to lose weight. And that is Skinny Tok. I'm tall, skinny, and pretty. I'd be jealous of me too.
Now, the problem with that is, good for her if she wants to be skinny and she's skinny. But now she's going, I'm better than you also. She's doing the same thing they did.
Okay.
I have been hearing a lot of people saying body positivity is taking a rain check.
It's time to unsubscribe from the body positivity movement.
It is dropping off.
Body positivity is a scam.
Dying. Some of the people in the movement are dying because their arteries get too clogged up with that, and people are starting to leave.
The body positivity movement kept me fat.
And of course,
But to be clear, I wasn't joking. It's all women. I'm just saying, it's all women.
Media is now not being so body positive. They kicked the token fat girl out, Tess Holiday.
I'm starving.
To let whatever skinny celebrity is right here. Whatever my editor puts. Just put a skinny person right here that everybody knows. Anyway, skinny.
There we go. Missy knows her. Yes, Michelle. She's hilarious. She's a workup. It's true. Yes, Michelle is look, Michelle cares about her body. She takes care of herself. It's clear. She does care about herself. Absolutely. No shame on anybody who does. People who are more muscle, less muscle, all good. But that's what she cares about. You're totally correct, Missy.
Is back. The Kardashians have lost all of their.
Look how skinny the Kardashians are. Skinny Tok is back. Kardashians can't stop.
Weight.
Without Kim Kardashian, there would be no skinny girl.
But they did not take out their butt implant. That looks, you do you, girl. Fat Talk.
I'm not mad at the butt implant. I'm just saying.
Talk might be dying, but there is a new talk that is coming up, rising up, and pissing a lot of people off. And of course, that is Skinny Tok.
The rise of Skinny Tok is absolutely insane right now. Like, I am shocked by some of the things that I'm seeing.
Okay,
yeah, they're getting upset because how dare you tell me that it's wrong to be big? Yes. Morgan brings it up perfectly, though. Ozempic. And Ozempic is the answer. That's correct. The anger of fat acceptance people, because people are like, I'm fat and I'm awesome and I love myself. Good for you. And then they were like, oh, wait, I can go on Ozempic? Maybe I don't need to be fat after all. And people start getting mad. Wait a minute. I thought you said you love being big. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Kim says, this is sick and manipulative. People who do anything to their body or life to be better than. This is just how sick our society really is. See, Kim, you get it. This is why I picked this topic. It seems like it's not important, but it is. Mike picked it up. You picked it up. This actually is important. As silly as it is, it's important. It is.
Let me ask you this question. Who do you want to be skinny for?
Skinny Tok is genuinely rotting y'all's brains.
And it is.
Okay. Skinny Talk's rotting your brains, but Fat Talk wasn't? No, they were both rotting your brains. They were both rotting your brains. That's actually true. They're both rotting your brains. Yes. And she goes, who are you getting skinny for? That, by the way, is an attack because of feminism. Feminism says, TikTok feminism. Sorry, TikTok, I'm going to clear it up before you guys come at me. TikTok feminism is you don't do anything for a man. Nothing for a man. Don't. So now if you're going to become skinny for a man, oh, that's double evil. That's double evil. See? That's even worse now. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just so toxic, especially with summer coming up.
And I have quite a bit to say about it. And I want to enter the Skinny Talk and see what people are saying. Because after my last video, many people were saying TikTok is full of the skinnies. They're taking over. They are forcing it. It's all over my feed. And I find it very interesting because when I type in fat talk, I get nothing but beautiful fat people show.
Yes, if you put in fat talk on TikTok, all you get is huge, beautiful, big girls saying how proud they are, saying how awesome they are, showing you how much they eat. That's all you get, which again, I'm fine with that. There's no judgment on this, but watch the difference. When you put in fat talk, TikTok says, look at all these beautiful big women. Check them all out. That's what they say.
Following me the day in the life of a fat person.
Welcome to my 300-pound life.
I'll get.
And they're proud of it.
What I'm eating as a fat person, not trying to lose weight.
In a world of Ozempic and GLP-1s, here's what I eat in a day as a fat girl, not trying to lose weight.
That really old video of J-Bay eating a.
There are guys right now who their entire TikTok channel, their entire YouTube channel is just reacting to what I eat in a day videos. I'm not joking. The whole thing, I'm not joking. Yes.
Fat people are allowed to eat what they want without feeling guilty.
She's eating overweight and she's got the oxygen thing in and she's proud. We're allowed to eat this. I'm not mad at her for it. But when you put in fact talk, this is what you get.
About it.
Aren't you in jail? I wonder how that's going on for her. So Skinny Talk intrigued me because the moment I typed in Skinny Talk into TikTok, I get this.
Okay, hold on now. Now I showed you what you get when you go to Fat Talk. So when you put in Skinny Talk, and this goes to the next piece, that's totally off. In reality, TikTok is poisoning us in America. It is. Why do you think people were so against it? I don't care about the Chinese having data. I don't care about that. I don't. And you may think I'm crazy. I don't. American government has no data. It doesn't matter. Chinese can't put me in jail. American government can't. I don't care about that. That part I don't care about. But they're influencing our women. Our men too, but this is heavily women. Our women to think only bad and not good. Now, why do I say that? We'll put in Skinny Talk. What do you get?
Warning. You are more than your weight. If you or someone you know has questions about body image.
So if you put in Fat Talk, they're like, be big. Here's more. Everything's beautiful. You put in Skinny Talk. You sure you want to get, are you okay? Something wrong with you? Are you all right? Do you have a problem? Don't try to get healthy. Don't do that. And you're going to say, well, Larry, you can be healthy anyway. No, you cannot. If you want to believe that, up to you. There should be no legal issues. But in reality, you cannot be healthy when you're 200, 300, 400 pounds of weight. That's not a thing. That's made up stuff to keep Sarah happy. It's garbage. Total garbage. Not true. They made it up to make themselves feel good. And it's fine. You can do that. But please don't pretend that if you're 300 pounds of weight, you are not healthy by default. And here they're like, well, if you want to lose weight,
food or exercise, it is important to know that help is out there and you are not alone. If you feel comfortable, you can confide in someone you trust or check out these resources.
Stay fat.
Not done. They want me to read more because I'm clearly troubled. Please remember to take care of yourself and each other. Wow, I didn't know TikTok cared about me so much. They even have my what is that? My stomach, liver, holding a heart, which I find very ironic because fat talk, people are eating burgers with a breathing tube in their nose. Some people can't walk.
She can't walk, and she's doing TikToks. She can't walk how big she is because she's healthy. She can't walk. The one before got the oxygen in her nose.
Some people's knees are hurting, but it's gesturally fine to overindulge in food. And then if you put in Skinny Talk, all of a sudden, are you okay? Do you need a therapist? So now I want to see what's on Skinny Talk. Many people are complaining about it. I want to see the tips that are going on. Is it toxic? Or do some people just want to have a slimmer build? As a muscular woman, do you see it right there?
I don't see it, sweetheart. You're hot. It's fun.
I kind of like to just be on the slimmer side. It's not really an insult to me as long as you don't stare at me and say,
oh, you look like a man. I just want to be really skinny and I'm going to do absolutely anything I can to attain it.
And seeing people talk about Skinny Talk makes me feel like that's what they're doing. So let's check it out. Unhinged skinny advice. Ooh.
Skinny advice.
So they're giving skinny advice. I'm going to end it there. If you guys want to watch that video, please check it out. It's linked there. It's about a 25-minute video. I just showed like 3 minutes of it. But so you get the concept of it. That's why I brought it up, because I think it does matter. It is an issue, right? Joel says, I'm okay with the too skinny or too fat, but I don't want to pay for the health crisis. The sad part is we are paying for them. We are. Yes, we absolutely are paying for it all the way. All the way. Yes. Missy says, I'm in anorexia recovery. I actually am aware of that, Missy. I worry the thin movement will swing too far the way the fat acceptance did. Yes. See, you reading my mind, Missy. You are reading my mind. That is my concern. That all of a sudden people will go from, I want to be 400 pounds and I'm fine. I want to be 600 pounds and I'm fine, to I want to be 90 pounds and I'm fine. I want to be 75 pounds and I'm fine. Both are bad. Yes. She says, I'll have to avoid Skinny Talk for my health, as you should. So I'm done doing it. You don't have to put Skinny Talks up. You don't want to. I've stopped. We're all good now. So yes, we are all good now. No more Skinny Talk. So I just want to start that. Phil says, do you think Skinny Talk has that recommendation because there's a more immediate risk for anorexia? By the way, there's fat people starving. They probably should be consistent if there's a warning. They should be consistent. Absolutely. But no, that's not the reason why. The reason why is culturally, America is still into fat acceptance and not Skinny Talk. Skinny Talk is still the new thing. You're still a bad person for wanting to be skinny right now in America. You're still a bad person for caring about what someone else thinks about your body. That still makes you a bad person, Phil. So that's why they're doing it. And of course, the Chinese TikTokers want to make sure Americans stay heavy. They don't want to become, get in good shape. They don't want that. So that's why it's there. If you heard the woman talking, it's like, who do you want to be skinny for? Right? So that's by default wrong. If you say, I'm who I am, I'm wonderful and I'm big, you're stunning and brave. That's who you are. You want to be skinny? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? That's the actual reason. So yeah. And the idea of starvation, yes. To be clear, in nutrition, America does not have an actual starvation, meaning that people don't have enough calories. That's not a thing. What America does have is a nutrition problem. There's a lot of people who have poor nutrition, tons of calories and terrible nutrition, 100%. Mike says, this isn't doing anything for individuals. Both sides just obey the same unseen masters. They are preying on a women's desire to be wanted, implying this will lead to love, but it moves the needle the opposite way. True. And I think what they're trying to do, actually, Mike, is they're trying to make the women believe that this is the key to self-love, which is therefore the key to happiness and other love. And those aren't always true at all. At all. Just because you happen to love yourself for whatever reason you decide doesn't mean you necessarily find any other love out there that you want. Maybe, maybe not. Common thought process is for you, and I see it on TikTok. This is TikTok women destroying themselves. They will say things like, if you want to find a man, you have to be confident. Not true at all. That shit they made up. Not true. You don't have to be confident to find a man. In fact, in today's world, often that is the reason why you don't have one, because you're too prideful, you're too confident, you become unbearable, and men don't want to be around you. They just want to sleep with you and leave you. That's what actually happens. And then they keep saying, I need to be more confident. And then they become more overbearing and they become more undateable, and they just keep getting used and abused, and they blame men now. That's a common thing. But I think that's what's actually happening. They're preying on women, And I feel for them. I mean, men get preyed upon too, but not on TikTok. There are other places where men get preyed upon, but TikTok is not it. TikTok is really for women in that regard. You're right. It's a valid point. Let me grab a couple comments if I could on these things. By the way, guys, if you like what I'm talking about or you want me to pop on some more stuff for you, you can click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo, if you would. I do appreciate it. Also, please share and repost this now. If you want your comment to go to the front, now remember, this is an AMA, so I will be more lenient on comments. But if you want your comment to go to the front, please make sure you super chat me or you can rant me on Rumble. Either way, doesn't matter. It's all good. And if you want to become a member, I take memberships to the best of my ability. First, $4.99, you can click that join button on YouTube, or you can click that subscribe button on Rumble. Both of them will work. I appreciate it if you can. I'm looking over at Rumble and I see Joel says, fat bottom girls do make the world go round. I'm not complaining about girls with a nice big bottom. I'm not complaining. Some men don't care. Some men like it small. That's on you. I'm a man who does not mind if a woman has, as they say, a little junk in the trunk. I'm not complaining. But, you do you. Again, let's see here. Kozo over on Instagram says, but as usual, people bastardize the movement. True. Without question, the body positivity movement did have great intentions. That's true. I think Kozo's correct, right? I think that's absolutely true. It just did not go that way. Kozo goes on to say, society seems to always overcorrect trends. Happens every 4 years in politics. True. Accurate. Yes, totally true. Yep. Alrighty. Let me see what I could do here. I will grab a couple more comments if I could now. Alrighty. Let's see. Matt says there was no notification for this. If that's true for you, brother, what probably happened is you probably got unsubscribed somehow or something like that. Check and always make sure you click all notifications. YouTube decides randomly that you are a bot and then unsubscribes or unfollows all the time. So just make sure when you go check it that you not only are subscribed, but that you also clicked all notifications. Do that so you get them. That will make it happen. Yes. All righty. The Scientific Libertarian says there are plenty of reasons to dislike Chris Christie. That's true. Him being heavy is not one of them, by the way. I'm with you, Scientific. He is heavy. And that has nothing to do with anything. I don't care if he's heavy. Doesn't bother me at all. I mean, some people do care. Not me. I don't care if he's heavy. That has nothing to do with anything. Matt says, I'm cool with someone wanting to be fat. Just don't try to tell me that they're healthy because being 300 pounds is not healthy unless you're an NFL lineman. And even they're not healthy, to tell you the truth. I mean, when they're younger, they tend to be. But when they get older, yeah. I'm with you. This is the part that I'm totally on, right? People now have to, in some way, shape, or form, they can't take the truth part about this. If you want to be big, and big is subjective, right? If you're 6'5", you could probably easily be 250, 300 pounds, right? If you're 6'5", you're 5'1". You probably can't be 250, 300 pounds, right? Depends on who you are, what's your muscle composition, all those things, right? Not just that. Some people have some extra weight on them and they're still healthy. I'm not saying you can have extra weight on you, but Fat Talk and Fat Acceptance literally had a list of how fat you were. I'm not joking. Like there was skinny fat, regular fat, super fat, infinifat. I'm not making it. It's true, right? I'll probably find it to show you. But yeah. And then each one of them, you are healthy at all those weights. No, you're not. If you've got extra 20, 30 pounds on you, you're probably healthy. I mean, I don't know you personally, but you probably could be healthy easily. You've got an extra 150 pounds on you? No, you're not. And again, you can be it if you want to, but okay, let me see if I can find it. There literally was a, hold on, do I have it here? See if I can find it. There actually is one of those. If I can find the image, and there it is. They're called, I'm not joking. They're called categories. I'm not making this up. You think I am. I'm not making this up. They're literally called categories. I didn't make this up. I didn't do it. This is someone else who put this together, I'll see if I can find it's called the fat spectrum. That's a real thing. Hold on, I'm gonna show it to you because you think I'm making this up. I'm not making this up. It's a real thing. There it is, right there. A brief explainer of the fat spectrum. Small fats, mid fats, large fats, super fats, and infinite fats. Yeah. And they call here's the categories right here. Small fat, how big you are, 1x, 2x, 2x and 3x is mid fats, whatever. This is the whole thing. Yep. That's it. Here we go. And then death fat is the biggest one someone else brought up. And this is other people talking. This is the own group calling themselves this, not me. This is not insults. They talk about it. And if you notice, when people who are very big on their videos and such, when they talk about this stuff, sizes. So if you're a 4X or 5X, they don't say 4X or 5X. You know what they say? They say, I'm a size 4 for 4X. I'm a size 6 for 6X. Yes, I'm a size 2 for 2X. I'm not making this up. This is actually how this works. So I thought you might enjoy that. I appreciate it. So yeah. All righty. Let me grab this. Shelly says, my God orders me to love everyone, but not be attracted to, date, or marry everyone. That would be insane. Correct. Look, to be forward, you should not be judged as for your rights or what you should get or whatever the case may be because of how big or how small you are. Who cares? But I don't have to be attracted to you, right? Some of these guys like the very skinny girls. Not me. I mean, I would take anything. I'm chatting, right? Yeah, but you do you. It's not my thing. All righty. That Liberty Lady says, doesn't help the healthcare system either, but going the extreme the other way, Ozempic face, won't be good in the future either. Did you ever take Ozempic? You could sue because of, yes. Correct. That also will hurt. And that's my point. I don't think the skinny part is the other way. Is going to help either. They're going the opposite way. Also not good. Agreed. Yes. So Mastermind says, oh, skinny and blind is the Ozempic way. True. Kim says, how about health talk? That would be nice. I want that one. Let's do that one. Andrew says, you mentioned one time that there came a fine line between acceptance and affirmation. It was more of the LGBT, but could it be applied in many other places, namely body positively? Mind going into it. I don't. I think it's a good idea. I completely agree with you, right? And I do. I absolutely accept anyone even if they're real skinny, they're real big. It's fine. You do you. I accept them completely. I don't have to affirm them. And that's the difference. If someone wants to be my friend, and many are, I know lots of big women. Some big men too. I don't care. It's fine. But if you're gonna sit with me and talk to me and chat with me and go, Larry, you have to accept that me being whatever 200 pounds overweight, I'm as healthy as you. And I don't have to. No, I don't. No, I accept you. So I'm not going to affirm you though. I'm not going to affirm this. But you can do you. I'm with you. We can still work together. We can still be friends. We can do all the things. You should have every right everyone else has. That's acceptance. I accept it. I don't have to affirm it. Affirm it means I'm supporting it. I'm behind it. I'm pushing it. Yes, you go, girl. I'm not going to you go, girl, you. I'm not going to do it. I don't have to, and I shouldn't have to. And in reality, in my view, that's un-American and unhealthy and wrong, right? If I affirm someone who I know is unhealthy, I'm doing it for a selfish reason. I'm making myself feel better, and I'm not actually helping them, right? I'm not actually helping them, right? That is my issue. So that's the difference between acceptance and affirmation. And if someone's too skinny too, right? I would rather have one with some meat in their bones. That's my personal opinion. But if you want to be super skinny and put in the fake back and the fake top, and you want to look like that kind of Barbie doll, if that motivates you, good. And if some men are hot for that, you go. Not my thing. I'm not going to affirm that, but I'll accept it. I hope that makes sure. That's clear. I hope that makes sense. The Scientific Libertarian says, I'm doing keto, but I'll be damned if I start frying stuff in beef tallow, beef lard. I have, by the way, done that. And it's good and it's bad. The beef tallow thing, while it can be good, it can also be like very heavy and thick and very hard to clean. You can't put it in a sink. It can be a pain. And it's expensive on top of it. Butter's a whole lot cheaper. Olive oil a whole lot cheaper and still good. The issue is though, Scientific, if you cook a lot, I don't know if you do, but if you cook a lot, If you cook on very high temperatures, beef tallow has a very high burn temperature. So if you keep cooking on very high temperatures, you know, with all that smoke coming up, beef tallow is not a bad thing to use. Olive oil has a very low. Olive oil starts steaming and burning. So it depends on how much you cook. Sometimes tallow is going to be better if you don't want to have a bunch of smoke and you cook on very high heat. So sometimes tallow will be a good choice. But yeah, I'm with you. I rarely cook with. I have tallow in the house. I rarely cook with it. So yes. Phil says, by the way, Lizzo and Jelly Roll lost a lot of weight the old-fashioned way: hard work, discipline, and expensive personal trainer. I'm not sure the expensive personal trainer part is the old-fashioned way, but it's a better way. Look, if you've got the cash and you want to be in great shape, spend the money. Why not? It's your money. If you've got the cash and you can afford to buy a personal trainer, why not do it? I love the idea, right? Do what you think's best. I completely agree. I have no problem with that whatsoever. All righty. Let me grab some things that may not be on this after we go through Gene. Gene says we have a nutrition deficit because of the abundance of low prices of terrible food. True, which is heavily done because of government subsidies. Correct. Yes, absolutely. Morgan goes on to say, make sure you take your vitamins. Not a bad idea. Yes. Gene says, my husband prefers a fat bottom woman. That's what attracted him to me. I'm like your hubby then. See? Feels like I like big butts and I cannot lie. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. That is good. All right, let me get off this topic. Unless you guys want to stay on it, I'll go grab some other stuff. Vivek says, how should the United States reduce dependency on China? I'm not sure we should. It may sound crazy. I'm not sure we should. I think we want to make sure that we don't have. Let me rephrase that. We can still do a lot of business with China. That's not necessarily a bad thing. There's two specific parts I want to bring up. One, we don't want to have the percentage of what we're doing so high with China, right? Like something like 90% of our toys come from China, something like that. I made that number. It's a large percentage, something like 90%. So maybe it should be 70% or 50%. And then the rest will come from wherever, Vietnam or the Philippines or whatever other place makes toys. I don't know what other country makes toys, right? But maybe like that. So I still want people doing business with China if it's the right business for them. I just would rather other countries also make other points. We don't want to become, maybe it is dependency. All right. Let me go back because maybe I took what you said differently. I don't want us to stop doing business. How about that? Okay. I think I probably misspoke. I don't want us to stop doing business with China. I don't want the percentage to be as high as it is. That's number one. Number two, second piece. There are some critical things that America needs that comes from China. I want that also to be far less and more of that in America. Do I care if we make, 90% of our toys in America? Not really. I mean, I guess it'd be nice if we could make more toys here, but that doesn't really, whatever. I'd rather 90% not come from China. So if we had 40% comes from China and 30% comes from the Philippines and 10% comes from wherever else they make toys, right? That would be better for me in my eyes. Except for things like, for example, I don't know, antibiotics, right? Important pieces for our computers and our military industrial complex, right? That type of stuff, I'd rather be made, a lot more of that be made here. But other than those types of what I think most people would agree with, and so would I, the idea of what is national security, I think more national security stuff should be made here. If it's not national security, I don't care if it's not made here. And people might get upset, but Larry, don't we want all of our own industry here? No, I don't think so. National security, yes. Not national security, I just don't want it all in China. And I think how you do that is by actually assisting with other countries actually making products, encouraging other countries to make products. You can do that with literally just making deals with them. Some people don't like that concept, but I think we can do it. I think we can have conversations with other countries. Am I against tariffs? I am. Do I understand a strategic use of tariffs to support our national interests? I could. Depends on what it is. Is there a plan with it? Maybe. So I could see maybe using it depending upon when it is. It would have to be very temporary to the point where now, look, when we first started going to China, it was because they were cheap. That was the reason. Now, why do we go to China? It's not just because they're cheap. There are cheaper countries that make things now. Mexico's pretty cheap. Vietnam's pretty cheap. India's pretty cheap. There are the countries, but they also now have an infrastructure, right? They also have an infrastructure that we like for manufacturing. We have to assist other countries in building that infrastructure. I think that's how we do it. Get other countries to build infrastructure so that companies feel comfortable. A lot of companies to this day really only feel comfortable in China. Why? They've been doing business for so long. They know it works. The infrastructure is there. The culture is now there. Other countries don't have that yet. If we do that, then things will be better. So I think that would be piece number one. Piece number two, it's very simple. Most of the strategic stuff in America is bought by the government. Not all of it. Most of it is. You can change how that works simply by changing the work order. Just the work order. What does that mean? Okay, Vivek, you want to make our whatever ammunition. You want to make our boots. You want to make our whatever's the thing that we need, right? Sake of argument, boots. No worries, you can make it. But by law, the United States government will not buy the boots unless 50% of or more of them is made in America or something like that, or of the product is, or of the whatever is. So you have to. So that means everyone now is going to be competing to build it in America, which will begin to build infrastructure again. So I think you do it by RFP, which is request for proposal. You do it by rule and regulation of the American government purchasing, not Americans purchasing. Americans should not be, we should not worry about what Americans purchase. They should purchase whatever they feel. But the government can say, hey, we need X% or X amount or whatever the case may be. And then that will by default. The problem is the American government creates markets all the time. And most of the attorneys don't like that. I agree. But in this case, there's no option. The American government has a market in our, security. It does. Our national interest, our national security, it does. So because it has it naturally, create the market you want. You have the ability to do so. I think that's how you do it. I hope I answered your question. So that's what I would do. So, all righty. Andrew says, can Alberta just be our 51st state already? Kind of joking. Look, the reality of it is Canada is not going to become 51st state. I know that. I've explained how and why. Are there some Canadians who want to be American? Yes. There's a group who do want to be American. There's some parts of Canada that don't like the government. Yes, it's true. A lot of people in Alberta are much more right-leaning compared to Canada is very similar to America in that regard. The coasts are very left. The center is very right. And again, Canadian right, not American right, Canadian right. So would some of those people like to be part of America? They would. But I don't think it's going to happen. Again, I've explained how that works. First of it will be a slap in the face to Canada, which I think they would take. And a slap in the face to the British Crown, the English, so they wouldn't take it. So I don't see it happening. I can't imagine. But you're right. Some of them do want that. That's true. Some do. Most don't. Mike says, Mayor of Newark got arrested / detained yesterday. Lefties losing their minds, ignoring that he broke the law, like the judges. Media is twisting the story to push Orange Man bad. Are you surprised, Mike? My car broke down. Orange Man bad. Duh. But no, look, the reality of it is the mayor of Newark getting arrested, that's not going to harm him. It's not going to harm him. Right? That he's a hero now. So yeah, it's not going to harm him. He'll be just fine. He'll be just fine. Of course, Democrats are looking for ways to show that they're fighting Trump. Right? I get it. If I was a Democrat, I'd be worried too. I mean, you can't imagine yourself being a Democrat, Mike, I know. But if you were advising a Democrat now and they want to stay Democrat, you're going to have to find a way to show that you're getting something done. Democrats got their butt kicked last year. And again, if you're a Democrat listening, you're probably unhappy to hear that. But it's true. They did. So Democrats now are trying to find a way to say, see, I'm fighting. I'm not like the rest of those guys who've done nothing. I'm special. I'm fighting, right? So going to jail, home run. Home run going to jail. Absolutely. So I'm getting arrested. I don't think he went to jail. I think he just got detained. So yeah, I definitely think that's a good idea. So, all right, let me grab some of these. All righty. Space Jason over at Rumble says, this is about the lack of will we have the lack of, what is it? Free will. The lack of free will. We have none. Women are too easily manipulated by social media. Men are too easily manipulated by fetishes. You know, it's interesting you bring that up. Generally speaking, and this is by demographic, obviously, not by individual, women are far more concerned about social proof than men are. Men are too, but women far more. That is accurate. They're more concerned about social proof. That's why you'll hear women use the phrase normalize. You don't hear men use that phrase. Men are much more concerned about what does a man or group of men who I respect think. That's what matters to most men, right? So if my group of men or my one guy who I respect says, well done, Larry, I'm good. I don't care if the rest of the world hates me. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Because the guy that I respect said, that's the right answer. I'm good, right? This is why so many, but to your point, men are much easier to fall in line behind a strong man. Because if they respect that strong man, all they care about is, does that strong man say I'm doing the right thing? Oh, I am? The rest of who cares? Doesn't matter. The whole world could think I'm terrible. Doesn't matter. The guy who I respect says I did well. I'm good. Women are less likely to be that way, more likely to care about what the collective thinks, more likely. So I think that is accurate. So that's why social media tends to work better on women than men. But what a man will do is a man will follow like one guy. You know, a man will follow one person and be like, if this person says I'm good, I'm good. Women will want the whole internet to say they're right. So there's a little bit of a difference there. I would agree with that. I think that's true. I think that's accurate. I'll buy that. Let me see if I'm heading over to, all right, I'm heading back over to YouTube again, if I can, and Facebook too. I'm grabbing both of these if I can. All right, let's see here. Matt says, I'm so against implants. Why have big boobs if they're fake? I know they're fake, and it's not as hot as some real boobs. I'll say boobs. I'm not sure how. I'm on YouTube. I don't know what I can say on YouTube. I got to do baby talk. So maybe not. So yeah, no, this is why I'll say it. I'm not against implants, right? I'm not. Why have big boobs if they're fake? Because it makes you feel better about yourself. That's why. Many men love fake boobs. They don't care. They look good. They don't care. Many men don't. I don't care myself. I don't care either way. I'm not a huge boob guy in general, as I've already mentioned. I'm more concerned about the bottom than the top. But again, you do you. So I think if it makes you feel good, that's fine, right? If maybe you aren't well endowed at top, maybe you didn't get you didn't get the double D's. You weren't born with that. You were born with little ones, and you want big ones. It's fine. I don't think there's a problem with it at all. So I don't feel as strong as you do, Matt. If it makes a person feel better about themselves, let them go. Whether the boobs are fake or not, so what? Most people can't tell initially. I mean, unless they're like obvious. And then some women want the attention, right? If you're a woman who wants attention, and not all women do, but if you like the male attention, you get the big fake ones, and the men keep looking at you. That's what you want. You're good. So I'm actually not against them. And again, I mean, what I think would be a problem is, say I was, say you're with somebody and you don't want a Matt, but she wants him. Now you got a problem. Or the reverse, you want her to have him and she don't want him. That's the problem, right? That's when it's a problem. But if both parties agree, or she doesn't have a partner, who cares? I don't feel as strongly as you do with that one, but I get it. There are some men who want a woman to be completely natural. There are some men who want a woman to be so natural that she doesn't even have any tattoos or piercings. That to me does seem odd, but it's a thing. Like there's a thing where men judge women because they have tattoos. I mean, I get it. If like a woman has like, a bunch, I could see your concern, particularly if she has like a bunch on her face and neck. Maybe I could see it. I mean, but a woman has a tattoo. And again, No judgment. You do you. I wouldn't care about that. I mean, maybe if she had like a bunch of them, like across her face and stuff, maybe I'd say, and not that I would think it's attractive or not. I would be worried, is she trying too much to get attention? Is she in that world where she doesn't really want to be with a man? She wants to be with a lot of men. Is that what's happening? And again, doesn't necessarily mean I would say no, but I think my eyes would be more open. My ears would be more open to see red flags. So, but I get it. Some people, but there is something about a woman with a lot of tattoos that's actually attractive too, but attractive in a sexual way, not a relationship way. They make, what is the difference? I think you know. Men will sleep with a lot of women they will not stay with. So maybe both. Maybe both. So, any case, I will grab some more of these. All righty. Straight End says, we lost Larry. Patty says, the pendulum swings both ways on this topic constantly. We are all different, and isn't that the way it should be? True. What is healthy for me may not be healthy for you. Also true. Yes, absolutely. True. Absolutely. Estelle says, what makes me mad is not fat acceptance. It's just that some heavy people are proud of being heavy. I feel like you shouldn't be proud of being unhealthy. Maybe. But again, do you want, well, it's a good point, Estelle. Do you want someone to be ashamed of being big? I could see why somebody might want that, right? Because their goal might be, I want you to be ashamed because I want you to get better because I care about your health and I love you and I want you to get better. I could see that. However, let me give a however with that. I think there's a better way of getting someone to lose weight if you care about them and you care about their health than shaming. I think there is a better way. I think a lot of people, though, who shame actually don't want them to get better. They actually enjoy the power of shaming them. And that part's just mean, right? So I don't want to shame people who are big. But if someone's big and they ask me my opinion because I care about them, I would tell them, right? If anyone has I can't say the word because literally I'll get canceled on YouTube. An ED, which is a schmeeding schmiss order. I literally can't say that phrase or I'll get demonetized. That's absolutely true. So yeah, yes. So they have that kind of ED. I would try to help them, whether it's, Anna or whether it's getting too big, I would try to help them. But I don't want to stop someone from being proud. I don't know. I guess I'm torn on this. I get what you're saying, Estelle. Someone who you care about, you don't want them to be too big. I get it. I'm just not sure shaming is going to be the right way. I'm not saying you are, but that's the opposite of pride is where my head went to. So maybe I'm wrong. Shelly says, the BMI classifies every professional athlete as morbidly obese. The BMI is a joke. It is dumb. It is stupid. It has no value whatsoever. Ignore the BMI. It's fucking dumb. I'm just sorry. It means it's government. It means nothing. BMI is useless. It means nothing. You should ignore it. It means nothing. You should care about your weight compared to your height and then body fat. That's all that matters. Those three things. Weight compared to height with body fat. That's all. BMI doesn't do any of that. It's stupid. BMI is the equivalent of the food pyramid. Useless. No value whatsoever. No value whatsoever. So yeah. Shelly says, the bragging about eating so much food is like a drug addict bragging about how much drug they consume. Yes, that's the part. That's the part that's bad. Is that what Fat Talk did, I guess she called the Fat Talk did, is it made eating more and more and more attractive, sexy, desirable among women. Men did not think that. Men did not think that. The amount of men who thought that already thought that. Those people already love big girls. They didn't need that. They already like the big girls. They're already chasing them. They're good. They're like, you didn't need TikTok for those men. They're already on board. They're already knocking on your door. They like big girls. That's good. But anybody else, no one else got turned on because TikTok said that. You either like the big girls or you don't. That's how that works. So, any case. Alrighty. That Liberal Lady says, the video of MAGA Kingmaker say the LP nominee in 28 needs to run for a cabinet spot and need to be prepared to drop out and back the GOP nominee. Thoughts, Larry? Should the LP just dissolve? All right. For those you don't know, Angela McArdle recently made some kind of presentation. I'm not sure where it was, but it's on social media, where she states that in 2028, the LP nominee for president, whoever that person is, should actually be running for a cabinet spot. That they should not actually be running for president. They should run their campaign and then drop out. And she didn't actually say GOP. To be fair to Angela, she did not say GOP, to be fair. I mean, I think we all know she meant it, but she did not say it. What she said was whichever candidate. That is what she said. I'm just being fair, Liberty Lady. I think I just pissed her off right now, but I'm being fair. I'm always trying to be fair. She did not say GOP. She said drop out and back either candidate that would give them a cabinet position, basically copying the RFK Jr. plan. I understand why she would say that. I understand why people think that. I disagree, but I get it. Like, I understand why. RFK Jr. for the Maha movement has made more impact than all libertarians throughout the history of libertarianism in America. That's a fact. In 1 year. That's true, right? I can't, it's true. More than the Greens have, more. The tactics he used, which I was not a fan of, and I said so publicly, absolutely got him, the Maha movement, more impact than any other movements. It used to be, and you know, it's Liberty, that the Libertarian Party was the most influential independent movement in the country. It was. Now, that wasn't much because it was third, so it's a big gap. Now it's Maha. The Maha movement is now more influential than the Libertarian Party is. That's true. And the vast majority reason, the biggest reason is because of what Bobby Kennedy did. Now, that makes some people unhappy. It's still true. So that's why some people are thinking, well, wait a minute. Why don't we have Libertarian Party do the same thing? When the Libertarian Party guy run, and then whoever is the 28 the nominee, obviously she thinks GOP, but she didn't say that. She said whoever. In theory, it could be a Democrat. In theory, depends upon what it would be for. Maybe the AG to deal with criminal justice. Maybe could be in theory to change the drug policies. So theoretically, and let me talk about theoretically. Theoretically, it would be if the Democrats running and decides, hey, we want a libertarian to come in and run our foreign policy so we don't fight wars. I mean, that's fantasy. Or to be the AG so we can, end the war on drugs. Fantasy. But theoretically, that would happen. And then that person would actually make more impact for liberty than just running a campaign and losing. I get that concept. It's not crazy. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea because it simply validates the two-party system, which is what's crushing us. In addition, we risk what I think Bobby Kennedy still risked. I mentioned it months ago, and I'm still concerned about it now. We risk the idea of the party that takes us on absorbing and crushing us. I think you saw it with the what was it? The Squad. The Democratic Party brought the Squad in and destroyed the Squad. Republican Party brought the Freedom Caucus and destroyed it. Tea Party in, destroyed it. So I think you've seen other parties bring these people in and destroy them. I think there's a whole lot. Laura Loomer's talking about it now already. There's a lot of people in the Republican Party trying to destroy the Maha movement. I think they're trying to do that already. And I think that most of the time, they'll succeed. So while I understand her concept and why people would think so, I think in the long run, if we do this, if the LP nominee does this next time, if they do in 2028, if they do that, they risk several things. One, people not giving to the LP because, well, I'm going to give to the LP. I'll just give to the Republicans or just give to the Democrats, whichever one I think this person's going to. Why give to the LP? Second, now people start going, well, then whoever the LP runs is just going to drop out. So who wants to be that person? Or number three, you also now encourage people who are not libertarians to run for president because they're planning to join the Democrats or Republicans. So that means that you're going to get Democrats or Republicans to run for our nominee so that they can join that group. At the end, that's their whole goal, right? And so there'll be some Republican who thinks, I can't get in on whoever's the Republican nominee, so I'll run libertarian so I can drop out and get in anyway using leverage the Libertarian Party or the reverse. You see that also. And lastly, the way we fix the country is by having a third party. Why do you think I supported? I was literally on in court with the Green Party Because the Green Party, if the Green Party wins, we still win. Why did I try my best at the Green Party advice in Michigan? They didn't listen. I'm not a Green Party guy because third party. Imagine if the Green Party had broken 10% in Michigan and was the reason why Trump won Michigan. Green Party has power, changes things. Third parties are the answer. Now, of course, I'm libertarian, so I'd rather that third party be Libertarian Party. I would rather it be that. But I would take a Maha Party, right? When Kennedy was running independent, I was all in. Why? He had the best chance of breaking 5% and making impact. So obviously, I'm not a fan of this plan, but I understand it. Like I get why they would do it, but I don't. I disagree. It's not what I would do. If I were to run for president in 2028 as a libertarian, I'm running to the end. I'm not dropping out. That's not my thing. That's not who I am. You know that. So I would disagree, but I understand why people would think that. I still think it's wrong. I hope I answered your question. So Matt says, I'm 6 foot 165. You skinny, Matt. You are skinny. You too small. You eat some more meat. Eat some more sandwiches. At 6 foot, you should be at least 180. You should be at least 180. Come on now. You're too skinny. You're too little. Get bigger. I know I'm teasing you. Yeah. Matt goes body by Amazon because you're too active. You better eat some more. I'm 5'11" and 175. So I'm an inch shorter than you and 10 pounds heavier. That's not good. So, all right. Straight in over on Rumble says, do you think the John Fetterman health news is just headline grabbing, or the Dems hating him? Do you think yeah. Thank you for the $5 right in, by the way. I appreciate it. Yes. The Dems hate Fetterman. He's got to go. People who are not Democrats or former Democrats think Fetterman's great. They're like, oh, he's the guy. But no, he's not. He is a traitor. The Democrat establishment hates him. The Democrats, hardcore lefties hate him. He's done for. Fetterman's gone. He's done. It's Dems trying to get rid of him, and it's going to work. Fetterman's finished. He's got he might win the next one if they don't want to fight, he might win them all, but I doubt it. I think he's done next time. I think he does his 6 and he's out. I think his entire career is finished. He went too far. Don't get me wrong. AIPAC will throw tons of money at him, but they'll just find the Democrats find another AIPAC guy. That's all. They'll find another AIPAC guy to get behind him and to get to primary him, and he's gone. He's done for. That's what happened. So I can't see him surviving straight in. I think he is absolutely finished. So hope that answered. So Jersey says over on Instagram, that's wild. I'm 5'10", 12% body fat, and 202 pounds. That's my point, right? Thank you for that. BMI, you're fat. BMI, which is useless. If you got 12% body fat, you are by default not fat. That's how that works by default. So that means you got lots of muscle on you, a lot of lean muscle on you. Good for you, right? If you're 5'10", you're 202 pounds, and you got 12% body fat, you have a lot of muscle on you. Muscle weighs more than fat. BMI does not take into account that, which is why BMI is useless. Useless. So you got a lot of muscle and you go to the gym. If you 202, 12% body fat, you go to the gym a lot, eat a lot of protein. Good for you, my friend. Good for you. I'm glad you're in that good of shape. I love that. Littleton, thank you for the $5, my friend. Chase was a shit choice. Mindset of country didn't fit. More right than left is the country. Lars and Larry 2028. Well, Lars and Larry 28, love that. Should have been Lars and Larry 2024. I expressed that. People don't want to hear it. Libertarian Party's broken and got its ass kicked because of it. I tell the Libertarian Party what to do all the time. They never listen because they're too worried about virtue signaling. I told them who the VP should be in 2016. Me. They ignored me. I told them who they should vote for in 2020. They ignored me. I told them they should support me in 2022. They ignored me. Now we lost New York and Illinois. I'm not getting them back unless I run again. And that's because Libertarians won't listen to me. I told them who they should have nominated in 2024. They didn't listen. Libertarian Party is worried about virtue signaling. That's it. Nothing else. This is why people like Angela, people listen to her. Why? Because it's, again, no answer or an answer. Virtue signaling is not an answer. And when the Libertarian Party recognized it should stop doing that stupid shit of worrying about who's pure or whatever dumb shit they constantly do, they stop doing that, then they won't listen to Angela. They won't. But because they're not they're gonna keep doing it, people are gonna go, you know what? I got this dumb stuff, or I got what Angela's plan. I'm gonna go with Angela's plan. And I know, Liberty Lady, you're upset about that, but that might happen in 2028. As much as you don't like it, and as much as I don't like the idea either, it might happen. Because what's the other answer? Throw some virtue signaling on top of that, and we're good. That'll happen. So yes. So Chase was not a good choice. And I said that. But not because Chase is a bad libertarian. He's not. Chase is a good libertarian. I know him. I like him. He's a good libertarian. But the point is, you're right. He didn't know how to deal with the mindset of the country. The Republican Party threw culture war at the American people. The Democratic Party didn't know how to handle it. He didn't either. He did not know how to handle the culture war issue at all. He didn't do a good job. He didn't know how to handle it. But more importantly, he was far more concerned about doing a 50-state plan, which is, I keep telling libertarians, it doesn't work. The Greens don't either. I told the Green Party. They didn't listen. I said, take every single dollar you have, every body you have, everything, and throw it all into Michigan. Every single person, every single dollar, throw it into Michigan. Throw it into Michigan. On the off chance you could win Michigan at 35% with three-way race, or at least break 10% and be the reason. Make some impact. Get people to show up. They didn't. They went 50 states. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing. A joke. Nothing. A joke. Chase, same thing. Chase, don't do this. It's silly. Don't do this. You got to fight in two spots, Maine or Nebraska. What I told them to do. What I said they would do. What I told the judge to do in 2020. What I told Gary Johnson in 2016, my plan wasn't Nebraska and Maine. It was New Mexico. The reason why I thought that in 2016, for those who don't know, Gary Johnson was the former governor of New Mexico. So I said, go New Mexico and Utah. That was my 2016 plan. Just focus on 2 states. Why? He could maybe win New Mexico. He was a former governor 2 times. They know him there. He was polling high there. Also Utah. Utah Republicans don't like Trump. They were looking for independent. And this guy, McMullen, who ran there for president in 2016, got a bunch of the vote. So focus in those 2. Maybe you win one. Or at least you're the reason why the other guy wins or loses. We make impact. Didn't listen. Chase didn't listen either. Chase is not a bad libertarian. He just didn't know how to handle the culture war stuff. And him being gay was an issue with that because he didn't know how to handle it. And he should have known that. And his team didn't help him out with that. And the 50-state thing, garbage. Terrible idea. Yes. Dave says Rectenwald was a bad choice too. True. Rectenwald wasn't. I didn't back Rectenwald either. I know both of these guys, right? Rectenwald also a libertarian. These guys are both libertarians, right? You can say you don't like Chase or you don't like Rectenwald. It's fine. They're both libertarians. I know them both. They're both libertarians. Now, clearly, Chase is more of a left-wing libertarian. Rectenwald is more of a right-wing libertarian. However, they're both libertarians. That's true. They are both libertarians. So, Rectenwald, of course, had the same idea. 50 states. Not going to work. Not going to work. All right. In the future, if I decide to run for president or whoever listens to me running for president, here's what we do. This make all you libertarians happy. We run a specific campaign to make impact, not to try to win the entire election. We try to make impact. Why? If we focus on trying to make impact, that will actually make people notice us. And then we have a chance at winning the election. It is literally step by step. Let me explain. Let's assume in 2028, the Libertarian Party gets smart and follows my plan. Whether it's me or somebody else running, whatever. I will back if a wealthy and or more popular libertarian runs, I'll back the libertarian. I backed Lars. I've never run for president in the past because there's always been someone I thought who could be better than me or I could do it well. If I believe I'm the most popular libertarian at the time and I believe I have the money and the backing and the time to do so, I would run. Otherwise, I will not run. I don't run to run. I run to make impact. So if I think I can make impact, I would run. If not, it's not me. I'll pick somebody else. Whoever that person is, if they follow my plan, we will focus on small areas, maybe Nebraska, maybe Maine. Why? From May till, say, June or July, if all of a sudden we're polling in any given state till we might win that state, Could you imagine if we focused the year before on winning one of those 2 states, and then when we win that state, or looking to win that state, we win the nomination, and all of a sudden that polling comes out, and let's say, for example, Libertarians polling in Maine at, say, 35%, because we spent all our time and energy in Maine. The other guys didn't bother. We could win this state. What's going to happen? National news. How are you doing it? What do you mean? What does this affect? How's it? Now, once national news hits in July, now people start noticing us. Now we start getting national polls. Now we start raising big money. Now we have a shot at actually using the 12th Amendment and getting an election thrown into the Congress and maybe winning this thing. That's how you actually make impact. Now, even if you don't win, getting that kind of impact means you have leverage. So now I don't have to drop out Liberty Lady. I don't have to. Not required. If I actually were able to say win Nebraska, or the one part of Nebraska, or win Maine, the one chunk of Maine, or actually get into the polls and make 20, 30%, or actually it's the reason why whichever side won is because of me being in the race, I now have leverage. So now when I cross the states, across the country again, and start supporting local people to win, they start winning. Larry, you're making that up. That's what happened when I ran for governor in New York. For those of you who remember, I tell the story often because it worked. I have evidence of this working. I have the receipts. In 2018, when I became popular relatively in New York State and got ballot access for the Libertarian Party in New York State, the next year when I crossed the state, we had 107 elected Libertarians. 107. We went from 0 to 107 the next year. Now, they were all local. School board, city council, water board, all those places. I don't care. We went from 0 to 107. That's grassroots. Well, what if I run for president and we get all that popularity because we almost won Maine, or because we won Omaha, or whatever, or because we had a contingent election, it went to the Congress, but we lost. They still picked the Democrat Republican. But we actually went to a contingent election. Oh my God, if that actually happened. Now everyone's looking at me. Oh my God, this guy's making an impact. Yeah. So now when I cross the states the next year for local elections, all of a sudden libertarians start winning. What? Now I have leverage. So now they say, Larry, don't do this, don't do that, support me here, support me there. Okay, what are you going to do? So now when we go to a certain state, state X or state Y, and they're worried, maybe in a primary, and they want my backing, now literally I go there and go, we're not running libertarians, but you know what? I will back you. I'll back you, Democrat. I'll back you, Republican, if you do X, Y, or Z, and if you put my local guy in your cabinet. Put my local guy on your ticket. You're going to be running for whatever. I don't know, governor of Utah, whatever. Well, you know what? Put my libertarian guy as your AG on your ticket, and I'll back you. That's how you do it. I have leverage now. The party has leverage. That is how the party gains leverage. Donors, voters, and also, of course, being the face and getting out there with popularity. All that stuff matters. That's how you do it. Anyway, I hope I answered your question. That's what we should be doing. We should have done that last year. Basically, Bobby Kennedy did that. Not as well as he should have. I had more plans for him. They didn't listen. They never. I do get tired. I do. I told my team this other day, I consider quitting. Often. I do. I am so tired of being right and no one giving a damn. I'm so tired of giving people the right answer to fix this country, to fix this state, and no one giving a damn. I am so tired of providing actual value and answers and not growing on social media still, and no one giving a shit on social media at all. And I'm telling you what to do. I'm giving you the right answers. You can talk to me right now, and people just don't seem to care and not growing. It drives me crazy. Anyway, I'll stop complaining. Well, for now. Lunatic, thank you for the $2. Laura/Larry 2028 with a Trump endorsement. You may laugh at that, but after Trump is gone, after he's done, the question becomes, will he care anymore? I don't know, right? Will Trump, while he is a Republican, and meaning by party affiliation, he's not really a Republican. He's a Trumpster. He's his own stuff. He's like Cuomo, right? Cuomo, while he is officially a Democrat, Cuomo's not really a Democrat. He's a Cuomoist, right? So Cuomo would be whatever he needs to keep himself in power. Trump is not, in his heart, a Republican. He's whatever is going to win, right? And for him, Republican was the answer. I get that. Makes total sense if that's what you want to do. I get it. So could he possibly endorse somebody else? Maybe, but only if he thought there was some value to himself. I'm not sure what Lars could offer Trump for endorsement. Had to be something. I don't know. Would Trump want to be in his cabinet or something? Would Trump want to be in the Supreme Court or something? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I can't think of something. There'd have to be something that Trump would want. First off, Trump would have to believe that Lars could win. That's number one. He'd have to believe Lars could win. Two, he'd have to believe that Trump would give him the thing that Lars says he'd give him, whatever that thing is. And then he'd have to want it. Would Trump want to be in the Supreme Court, maybe? Would Trump want to be a specific ambassador someplace? Would Trump want to be UN ambassador? And then assuming that's happening, would Lars want to give it, right? Would Lars actually want to give Trump a Supreme Court spot or ambassador, whatever the thing is he'd want? I don't know. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No, not at all. It's not likely at all. And there's no power in it, right? The odds are Trump will be a kingmaker for whatever the next Republican guy or gal is. That's my assumption. Trump will be kingmaker. Could it happen? Yes. I think the odds are grossly slim. Very slim. So Matt says smoke point. Thank you, Matt. It's called the smoke point. Tallow, oil versus butter. Tallow has a very high smoke point. Olive oil has a very small, a low, smoke point. Butter's in the middle. So I tend to cook with butter when I think I'm going to be cooking at a high level versus olive oil. So yes. Mike has bad knees says the greatest benefit of a personal trainer is keeping you accountable. True. Yes. Absolutely true. Shelly says I use butter and olive oil. Yep. I have ghee on hand if I run out. Ghee also is good. Also true. Yes. Kim also says smoke point. There we go. Smoke point. That's what I meant. Yes. Yes. All righty. Mike says, as much as I like the support that Liberty Lady, if it doesn't make sense as policy and candidate match, then I won't work for Republican or Libertarian. There are too many seeking power in politics. True. True. Yes. Absolutely true. So, all righty. Patty says, Marilyn Monroe's famous dress is in the Smithsonian. Was size 18 by today's standards. She looked amazing. True. I'm not mad at Marilyn Monroe's body. I'm not mad, Patty. I mean, some people are. I'm not mad at it. Absolutely. Yes. Lunatic goes on with the $5. Thank you. Remember my conspiracy on Trump's tie color. Policy gold, red, blue. Trump is setting the stage. No federal income taxes. Federal government reduced now. Look, I hope you're right. I do. And I mean that sincerely. I hope Trump goes more libertarian. And I hope he ends the income tax. That'd be amazing. If that were to happen, I mean, I think if that were to happen, I think someone like Angela McArdle has much more of an argument for the future, right? I could see that. Lunatic, I don't see it happening. I don't see Trump. And the reason why I say it is not because Trump wouldn't want to get rid of income tax. I think he would. But remember, he's not a libertarian. So this is not a passion for him. Would he do it if he thought he'd be popular or if he thought it would make sense? Yeah, he doesn't like taxes. I think he would do it. But he's got to see it. There's got to be an advantage. There's got to be something great about it to happen. And then he has to be able, because to get rid of the income tax, if you get rid of federal income taxes, if you ended them, what people don't understand, at least half of the lobbyists in D.C. will be out of business overnight. People don't think about that. Why are there so many lobbyists in D.C.? Many reasons, but a huge chunk of them is tax policy, income tax policy. If you dumped income tax, maybe half's an exaggeration, maybe a third, maybe a quarter, whatever. A huge chunk of lobbyists go home. What do? They're lobbying for income tax all day long, lowering, changing, shifting, adjusting. You dump it, then state's going to want to follow suit if they can. So you have an entire industry of lobbyists who are going to fight you tooth and nail to keep income taxes, not because they care about income tax, because they care about their jobs. People don't think about that. It's an industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry in lobbying, right? So yes. Now, he would have to use a lot of political capital to do so. If Trump were a libertarian, he might be prepared because ideologically he would feel strong enough to do so. He might. That's the kind of thing I would do, kind of thing Lars would do, because we are ideologues. So that would be important to us. We would sacrifice our political capital to do something like that. We would. Will he? I don't know. Do you get my point? If he thought that, he would do it. Otherwise, I'm not sure he would. Straight N over on Rumble says, eliminating the IRS would put a bust of Trump on Mount Rushmore. If he thought that, he would do it. And again, not because he's a libertarian, because he'd love to have his face on Mount Rushmore. And I wouldn't be mad at it. Again, I wouldn't care about his internal reasons for doing stuff. If he wants to dump the IRS, I'm good. I'm not going to fight him. I'll give him all the credit in the world. I'll tell him I'm going to sign a petition and put him on Mount Rushmore then. I will literally say, if he does that, I will put on my show, I will do a whole segment on why he should be on Mount Rushmore. Happy. Wouldn't bother me at all. So yes, he'd have to actually believe it would be valuable for him. Because again, he's not ideologically libertarian at all. So Phil says, I'm thinking for the $5, Phil. If there's a revenge of the neocons in GOP, would likely have MAGA looking for a new home if an anti-war small government faction is kicked out. Well, I think, okay, so you're saying if after Trump's gone, if the neocons win, that's a good point. Whenever Trump steps away, whenever that happens, actually steps away, like either he passes away or he says, I'm out of politics, whenever those things happen, right? Whenever it happens, there will be a civil war in the GOP. That's true. There was already been one in the past. They're kind of fighting a Cold War right now, right? And it will be the old neocon establishment against the America First MAGAs. 100% is going to happen. I agree. If the neocons win, and they could, the problem is the more Trump stays in power, the weaker the neocons get, right? Because more people are moving towards America First, towards MAGA. It's working for them. They're making money on it. It's making sense for them. So he's gaining momentum and power by the day. But then again, if he fails, if when it comes to, next year, the economy crashes, his tariffs fail, if all those things happen, and who knows, it definitely could. If he's a total failure by 2026 and the Democrats sweep the House and the Senate, right? They sweep everything. If that happens, I'm not saying it will, but if it does, and then it looks like they're going to lose and the Democrats win the presidency in 2028, the Democrats get everything back because Trump's policies fail so badly, neocons could win. That's the reality. If that happens, neocons could win. In which case, you're right, MAGA's looking for a new home. But does that mean MAGA comes to the Libertarian Party? I mean, maybe. It depends upon what's happening. Look, if we fail again in 2028 and we screw up again, I think you're right. At that point, Libertarian Party would just be a shell. And it would easily be taken over by the MAGA people. I think you're right. It's a valid fear. For those of you who don't know, Libertarian Party is a shell right now. And it will be a total shell by 2020 if we screw it up again. If we do the same thing we did last time and just get some guy who's the strongest liberty person or whatever, who raises no money and does nothing again, if that happens, or if we follow the Mercado rule and we have to try to do that and that fails, then I think yes. So all of that would have to happen. Trump's policies would have to fail miserably. The Democrats would have to take over in 2026 and then in 2028. And Libertarian Party would have to do absolutely nothing again. Then maybe, if all those things came together, I could see that the MAGA people would take no Libertarian Party. I could see it if that were to happen. Otherwise, why wouldn't they either create a caucus with the Republican Party and then push to retake it in 2030 or 2032? Right? They could push to retake it. I think do that. Or go Constitution Party, which is far more right-leaning and will be much more open to MAGA. Much more open to it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I hope that made sense. That's my 2 cents. Hope it made sense. There we go. So there we go. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. Kim says, I watched Kim Iverson today about the Civil War in Maha. Yeah, that came out about a day or two. I reached out to her already. We may be chatting about that, her and I, in the future. So I love Kim. We've done work together before. I think she's amazing. My concern is she believes that Maha number one and biggest issue is the jab. That's not true. It's not. But she believes it because that's her biggest issue. And I get it. It's not true. Maha's about far more. And one of the things that if you would have asked, and some people did ask, Bobby Kennedy Jr. last year, what do you want to base your campaign on? He wouldn't have said the jab. He wouldn't have said medical freedom. He wouldn't have said that. He would have said restorative farming. That's what he would have said, because that's where he sees it. He does see Maha heavily about food. He does. He does see it heavily about food. The jab, too. Medical freedom, too. But that's not where his head is. His head is, that's like number 2 or 3 in his list. And a lot of people in Maha, where medical freedom is a big chunk of it, a lot of people are really about the food. So it is definitely a part of it. And she does not think that. I don't think she's right in that one. Lunatic, thank you for the 499. You both should be campaigning now with current policies being agreed upon with most humans that still believe in the American dream. MAGA Maha. The problem, Lunatic, is that other people don't care. I've tried this so many times. You guys are making me tell you why I'm so bothered and why I want to quit so often. And it's often. That's one reason why I have a team, so that I don't quit. Because of this right here too. Sadly, unless I'm running for a governor directly and it's that year, nobody gives a shit. They just don't. They don't pony up. They rarely show up to events. They don't write checks. They talk a bunch of talk. They don't support. So many just don't do it. They just don't care. Or they act like they care. Then now I say, okay, now write me a check now. And they go, well, let's see what happens next year. I get all that shit. I try to get on podcasts. I try to get on shows. Well, you're not running this year yet. When's the election? We'll talk in 2026. That's how it always is. We'll talk in 2028. That's how it is. To say you should be is great. Who's going to pay my bills? Who's going to support me? Who's going to put me on this show? I can't get enough people to become members in this show for this show to make any money. And you want me to take off and go campaign? With what money? Where? How? What am I going to hire people? What money? You gonna write checks for me, Lunatic? I mean, you help out. I appreciate it, but it takes millions of dollars. $500,000 for me to run for governor. $500,000 to run for governor. To run for president, $10 million. That's what it takes, at least, maybe 15. It's a lot of money. Can we do it at the time? Yes. Is it doable? It is. But a year or two early, 3 years early, it's impossible, bro. It's impossible. There's not enough bodies of people who give a shit. They just don't. They'll care later. In 2026, they will care about governor. In 2028, they'll care about president. Before that, I don't care. They don't care. I wish they did. Again, as usual, Lunatic, you're right. The rest of the world doesn't care. They just don't do it. Trust me, I've tried. If you don't announce at the right time, it just gets ignored. It gets ignored. People just don't care at all. It's embarrassing. And then you quit your job and you quit this and you give up on this. And then no one's showing up to your events. No one's caring. Your team is like, look, Larry, I got stuff to do. It's tough. It is tough. So anyway, I do appreciate it. You're right, but it's tough. That's what I'm saying. All right. Straight End says, sadly, I predict larger government at the end of his presidential term. Could be true. Joel says, me too, Straight End. Yep. My BA lady says, you're not wrong, bigger government. I hope you're all wrong, but you're probably right. Look, this is reality. If he actually does the things he said he's going to do as a libertarian, it'll be impressive. I hope he does. But to be forward with everyone who is a Trump supporter, to be fair to Trump, is he against smaller government? He's not. As a person, he's not. He would do it. The question is it going to be valuable for him and what other things he wants to do? And is that the right thing that he's going to spend his political capital on? He is still fighting the establishment. That's still true. And the establishment does not want to make government any smaller at all. He's still fighting it. Where does he spend his time and his political capital? I think right now what he's concerned about, and I've been saying this forever, right now it's on foreign policy. Right now, Trump is saying, I'm going to spend my time, my political capital on foreign policy. That's where I think he's focusing. I don't think he's wrong to do so, to be fair with you. Would I like him to come in? Of course I would like him to. Of course I would. I would love for him to come in and say, you know what? We're going to focus on internal policy and end the IRS. That'd be amazing. I would love that. But it's not where he is. He is right now focusing on, he's now focusing on foreign policy and ending the wars. And look, I hope he does. I said it before, I'll say it again. I hope he can end both of these wars where people are satisfied enough. That'd be amazing. I hope he can. That's it. Ryan says, thank you for the $5, my friend. Could what's happening in the UK with voters pushing the traditional parties in favor of an insurgent party, that would be a dream for me. I think it can. The issue becomes, look, Kennedy dealt with it too. The system is against the third parties, right? Literally, he raised tens of millions of dollars and he couldn't get on the ballot in all 50 states. And again, this goes back to my other part with lunatic. This system doesn't give a shit. Most people don't care. Most people are happy he didn't make it. Don't care. They don't understand that he spent $20 million just on getting on the ballot in all 50 states and couldn't do it. He spent $1 million in New York State and they threw him out because of a different address. I wish I was joking. And where was the outrage and how unconstitutional that is and how wrong it is? There's no outrage. Nobody cares. I do, but no one else does. So is it possible? Sure. But it has to be someone who's as popular as RFK Jr., but also as ruthless as some of the other people, and also who won't stop no matter what. And that's hard to find. And who can raise that kind of money? Who could raise 20, 30, $40 million and then push? Then yes, then it can be done. Because if you stay, and again, say we do what I was talking about. We try to get a ballot in all 50 states, and we can't. We get a ballot in 48 states, 49, whatever. But we almost win Maine, or we win Maine, or we win Omaha. People will then have their literally their microphone in front of your face. How'd you do it? Oh my God. And all you do is talk about how unfair the system is. Or you tell them what actually happened, and people can't believe it. So doing what I'm talking about gets the press to talk about it so we can actually fix these broken systems. The systems is just so damn broken. The UK has relatively easy ballot access rules. You can get a ballot very easily in the UK. Not here. They go out of their way to stop you. And the judges, of course, the garbage judges that we have, don't care. So yeah, I just get me a trigger tonight. All right, I'm calm. I'm calm. Mike, don't text me again. I'm good. All right. Phil, thank you for $2. Today is the 250th anniversary of the Fort Ticonderoga capture. Look at that. New York has a lot of history. It really does. People don't realize how old New York is, right? New York has a lot of history. I would say one of the best things you can do when you come to New York is do some tours. New York City, particularly, has a lot of old history, right? New York City's existed since the 1600s. The Dutch had us 1600, then the British. So it's existed for almost 400 years. Is it 400? No, not almost 400. Like, I think 1660. Is that right? New York City? I think 1660s. So almost 400 years, 300 and some odd years. So a lot of time. So you can go back and see a lot of cool stuff. Absolutely. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So, all righty. Kim says, I realized something today. It's not government I hate. It's the politics I despise. Never have liked politics of any kind. Yeah, that does make it bad. It makes it worse, right? It makes everything worse. Absolutely true. It makes everything worse. Kim was on to say, RFK is listening to his very own master plan, in my opinion. He has a big job and a short time to get it done, if he can get it done. He has to be tactful and strategic, don't you think? Agreed, right? He also has to, by the way, Kim, you bring up the same point. He's got to figure out where does he spend his political capital? Because within 2 years, he really has to be able to show some kind of results. Where do you spend your money and time, right? Where do you spend your political capital? You're right. It's going to be challenging for him. But so far, I'm actually pretty good. So far, I'm actually pretty good. Gene says, how much of our debt's owed to China? The biggest chunk it rotates between China and Japan. The last time I checked the numbers, Japan was higher than China, but that could swap. Last time I checked, it was Japan and China. Japan was highest, and then it was China. And about half of our debt is owed to Americans or American companies, American groups, America. About half is overseas some way, shape, or form. And the biggest chunk is either Japan or China. And I think it's like 20% in that area. So yeah, that's about how much. Hope that answers your question, Gene. All righty. The good Dr. Cameron, how are you? Obese patients who ate a lot of refined carbs and had health issues related to diet complained about their rights to be fat. Furniture, seats didn't fit them. I was treating them for disease. Yes, they complained and then said, okay, I have a right to be fat, so make everything bigger for me. Yeah. Mike says, critical goods cannot remain overseas production, i.e. medicine, staple foods, defense. That's my point. Yes. Now, if you want to have a small percentage of them for certain reasons or whatever, I don't mind that, Mike, right? If like you make a rule, 85% has to be, or whatever, I made that percentage up. It doesn't have to be 100%, not required. I'm not that much of a purist in that regard, but it's got to be the vast majority so that if something goes wrong, we're not crippled, right? If something goes wrong, we're not crippled. Right now, we just stopped working with China. It's a problem. Like, it's a problem. So I'm with you, but I'm just not at 100%. I'm not sure if that number is 90%, 85%, 80%. I don't know what that number is, but I'm okay if it's not 100. I just don't want us to be crippled. That's the most important piece. So yeah. All righty. Ryan says, oh, what's happened in Argentina? Argentina is my favorite example. I use it often, Ryan. Milei, if you remember, one of the reasons why I'm not hammering Trump right now so much is I want to give him some time. I said the same thing with Milei. If you remember when Milei got on, everybody was like, you got to say how bad he is, talk about him all the time. I was like, nope, I'm not going to. I'm going to give him a year. And then I'll talk about it. And I did. Talked about it last December, was it? And Milei is doing just fine. There are problems. It's not perfect. It wasn't going to be. And people have been hurting. It's true. And people who complain go, yep, he did that stupid shit coin thing he did. Stupid. He did that too. It was a problem. Agreed. But overall, Argentina is far better off. Overall, he's winning. And it doesn't matter if I think so. The Argentinians all think so, right? As a group. The Argentinians believe they're doing better as a group. They're happy with him. And he doesn't have the majority of his Congress, and he's still getting stuff done because it is not healthy for those Congress people politically to go against him right now because he's so popular. Again, he's had success. That's our best piece. My worry is that Mr. Doge, Elon Musk, came up and tried to be like him and that he'll fail. My worry is exactly what Straight Ann said, is that after 2 years, a year, whatever, the government will be bigger. And I've said how I'm going to judge Doge. Very simple. If next year our budget is actually smaller, not cuts because it doesn't have the increase. And what I mean by that, those who don't know, if the standard increase every year is 4% and they only increase it by 2%, the government says it's a 2% cut. I'm not joking. That's how it works. They say 2% cut. Why? Because we thought 4, we only did 2% increase. So that's 2% cut. No. I mean, if it's actually smaller, if we actually have a smaller deficit and a smaller budget, I would like to have our national debt going in the opposite so Pete could stop doing his thing. That'd be awesome. I'm probably asking too much for that, but that would be amazing. If that's happening, all good. But that's how I will judge Doge. I would judge Doge by next year's budget. If it's actually lower, and if Straight Ann is wrong, and Straight Ann, I hope you're wrong. If he's wrong, then Doge was effective. If it's the same or bigger, no, not true. No, not there. So I want to now go to the other part. Trump said that 30 days after liberation, 90 days of Liberation Day, that we're going to have all these great deals. Okay. I'm going to give him 90 days. He said 90 days. That's what he said. 90 days. Okay. If after 90 days from April, what's that? April, May, June, July. So July, May, June, July. If by July time it comes and we don't have all these great deals, then he failed and his tariffs were a joke. That's how I'm going to judge him. But I'm going to wait the 90 days. He told me, he said it to him, hey, 90 days, and I have all these great deals. Okay. I want him to succeed. I will give him the 90 days. And if he's got these great deals, I will say, see, look, he was great. He got the great deals. Isn't this awesome? He said great deals. He got great deals. Right now, not looking great for him. But you know what? He's got about 2 months left. Good luck. I hope you make it. That's what I would say. But if he doesn't, Ryan, America's in trouble. Because what they're going to say, what the establishment's going to say is, we tried Malay's way with the Doge and Elon Musk and his chainsaw. It didn't work. See? Doesn't work here. That's Argentina. Them failing here makes Argentina irrelevant. That's what I hate. So yes. New York was known as New Amsterdam. Correct. That's true. In fact, a lot of the names of places in New York are Dutch. A lot of places in New York are named so-and-so Kill. Why Kill? Because Kill is Dutch for stream or river. People don't know that. So so-and-so Kill. Why? Stream or river. That's where it's from. It's Dutch. So Haarlem is from Haarlem in Netherlands. Lots of places like that. Yes, there's tons of them. Stuyvesant was Dutch. So America has a lot of, New York has a lot of Dutch in it still to this day. Even from those times, there's a lot of Dutch in it. Absolutely true. So thank you for that. I appreciate you that a little bit. Very true. And that was 1640? I think that's 1640, if not mistaken. Yeah, hold on. New Amsterdam's 1640s and New York is 1660s, I think. Hold on. I think 1640s, right? Hold on. Yeah, 1640. In 1640, New Amsterdam. That's what it was. 1640 was New Amsterdam. I think the 1660s is when New York changed. Oh, 1664. There we go. So 1640, New York is New Amsterdam. 1664, it becomes New York. I knew it was something like that. There we go. I don't always get the exact time, but I'm pretty close. You guys know me. I'm pretty close to those things. My history I got down. For some reason, I got that down. So, any case, I do appreciate that that piece. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of these. Morgan says, a proper education / university should have and might have given him advice, services, and support to enter the work filled upon graduation. If they didn't, that's upsetting. Oh, talking to Gene, who says, my youngest son graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science on Sunday. Do you have any tips for him to find work in that field? Thank you. Yes. Okay. Yes, I'm going to tell you what to do. Number one thing he has to do, he has to go to hackathons. I'm not joking. He has to go to hackathons. He has to go to places where all the computer people get together and do stuff. That is the most critical piece. If he just starts putting out resumes, he is in trouble. Networking is the way to get a job in today's world over anything else. Networking is number one. Number two, doing things and presenting those things in some way, either online, in person, within a hackathon, within some networking event, producing, saying, I did something, and to be forward, it does not matter what it is. Why? What an employer wants to know is that you will do stuff. I know that sounds silly, but in today's world, particularly Gen Zers, will you do stuff? Well, I did stuff. Oh, okay, you did stuff. You will do stuff. So networking and doing stuff, critical. Everything else, secondary. Good resume, secondary. Great grades, secondary. These are all secondary things. And do not go back to school. Do not get a master's degree. That will end his career. If he goes back for a master's degree, he's going to be working in Starbucks. I wish I was joking. College is garbage. But they may do a show on that coming up here. How college is failing horribly. I've got a couple. I may do that. Yeah, think about that. It's just terrible. If I was an 18-year-old now, I would never go to college. Never go to college. Colossal waste of time and money. But people go. So if you go, there are certain degrees you should get. Computers is one. That's one. That's a good one. Engineering is good. Nursing, great. So there are certain degrees that work well. Unless you go to certain degrees do work well. Computers is one. Engineering is another. Nursing is another. Other than that, you have to go to an Ivy League school or have a plan, like I'm going to become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, something like that. Then that's good. But people who just go, just like, I'm going to college for whatever liberal arts degree. You are throwing your money in the garbage and throwing your 4 years of your life in the garbage. It's useless. Go do something. So anyway, to answer your question, networking like there's no tomorrow. Doing something. In other words, when I say do something, I'll be more clear on that. Say he's a programmer. I don't know if he is, but say he's a programmer. Program something. I'm very serious. Use AI to do it. Don't do it on your own. Show you can work with AI. Tell them to make some kind of program with AI. It can be literally anything. It does not matter. Whatever he likes, whatever he's into, whatever he enjoys. Make a program about that. If say he doesn't want to do a program, the program could create things. The program could be something that makes plans, that plans things, that does stuff for you. It doesn't matter what it is, anything. It could be a CRM. It does not matter, whatever it is. Not just that. If he doesn't want to do that, he could also put together a plan for something. Like, here is the plan to create something. Maybe he's not, I don't know what he does, but say he's not a programmer. Maybe he's a manager. Okay, put together a plan to create something. Here is the plan that you could create this thing. Doesn't matter what it is. Why do I say that? Because a hiring manager is looking to see, will he do something? A whole lot of Gen Z doesn't do anything. He wants to see he's doing something. Critical aspect. Hope that was helpful, Gene. Let's see here. Straight Anthony with $2. The debt clock is stuck at 36 trillion. I have a few guesses of what's going on, but I don't know. Is that true? Are they trying to say Doge worked? Is that the way they're doing? Maybe that's why Pete didn't put anything in. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe. Patty says the mayor of Newark has now moved himself up the Dem ladder. Yes. See, Patty gets it. Absolutely true. Yes. Absolutely true. Totally true. Yep. All right. Let me keep going on. JGJ says, I worry the enhancements, the modern era of cosmetic enhancements, have been chilling to women, ruining their natural look. That's 100% true. Don't worry, that's true. Right? Ozempic face, putting the fat in, taking the fat out, putting the fat in the butt, taking the fat out. Yes, terrible. Yes. And then there are women who are getting facelifts at 24 years old. There are women who are getting, all kind of work done, taking Botox at 30. I mean, all over the place. It is everywhere. Tons of procedures everywhere. It's everywhere. 100%. Yes, 100%. Yep. Rick says, I'm pretty sure that being fat lowered my income substantially. Should have used Keto Magic sooner. There we go. Keto is magic. You make more money. I love that. Yes. Kim says, blank canvas here. No tats. Only ears pierced. Kim, there are a lot of men who'd be very happy to hear that. I don't know if you're looking, but if you're looking for a man, there's a lot of men who would very happily say hi to you because of that. That's all. Mike says, I'm not a fan of women with tattoos. Yes, a lot of people are going that route. It's true. Andrew says, I think that's traditional religious conservative thing. No, not religious. Conservative, I think, yes. And you see many men, particularly young men, are going conservative. You see across the country, heavily here, but yeah, you see a lot of men are going more conservative, and they don't like the tattoo thing. And women are going more liberal, and more women are getting more and more tattoos. It's true. Another reason why men and women aren't connecting. Another reason. I mean, we need more. It's another one. JGJ says, piercings have a history, a significant red flag, bull nose ring. Yes, that literally is up. There we go. Mike says it. Septum ring, huge red flag. Yes, I hear that constantly. I know a lot of women, a lot of men, that if you got that nose thing, that septum piercing, they're not dating you. They'll sleep with you. They're not dating you. Literally, they're like, red flag. I know. It seems it's a thing. It's how it works. There's a lot of men out there. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. So, any case, Shelly says, I grew up on a farm, and when I first saw a human being wearing a bull ring, I was floored. Yes. Yes. Mike says, honestly, I've never seen a woman with a nose ring that makes her look attractive. They always look better without it. I don't know. I've seen some hotties with nose rings. I have. You know one of my, there's some hotties with some nose rings. I've seen some women who look very good. But the women who I have chatted with who have that, yeah, there have been issues. That's what I'll say. There have been issues. But doesn't mean they're not hot. Doesn't mean they're not hot. There's a lot of hot women who are absolutely a disaster. It's the same with men. You know, the girls love the bad boys because they're hot. I get it. You're a woman, like bad boy looks hot. But he's a bad boy. So he's a clear red flag. He's got tons of, he's not good for you. Doesn't mean he's not hot. So just saying, you can be hot and still be bad for you. And a woman can wear a nose ring and look hot and still be a disaster. A man could be a bad boy and, you know, be hot and still be a disaster to date. So there we go. Phil says piercings on the side of the nose was border. Oh, is that borderline? See, we're finding rules now. See that? You didn't know you'd learn this stuff here in the show. There's rules now. The septum is no, and the side is borderline. Okay, now we know. There we go. Patty says, Shelly, my son-in-law just got that piercing, and today my daughter's got hair caught in it while putting away groceries. That's funny. That's funny. Yes, that is good. So Mike says, I'm not even referencing the look, Mike. They all tend to be ultra left wing. Well, it's funny is there's a stereotype, right? The stereotype is three things. The stereotype is three things. The stereotype is big, funky colored glasses, colored hair, usually blue, but any other color, just colored hair, and then the nose ring. That's the stereotype. So if she has those three things, she's supposed to be the crazy liberal girl, left-wing liberal girl, feminist woman. Are they? I don't know, but that's the stereotype. So I guess those are your red flags. There we go. All right. Andrea says, I can say I'm happier in my body after losing 115 pounds. Wow, Andrea, I didn't know you lost 115. That's a lot of weight. Losing 115 pounds is a lot of weight to lose. Congratulations. Good for you. Good for you. You know, I lost a bunch of weight too, and I feel better that I lost some weight too. Not 115 pounds. You got me beat on that. You got me beat. But yes, I agree. So, all right. Morgan says Larry Sharpe and Spike Cohen 2028. Sharpe Spike 2028. Sharpe Spike 2028. Missy says RFK Jr. has made a huge impact. True. I agree. Yes. Liberty Lady says she did say whichever candidate. See, she did say whichever candidate. Giving her credit. But her tweet this morning says the CNN side of libertarians are big mad for what she said. FYI, I don't consider myself a CNN libertarian. Yeah, I think she means left side, and I get it. That's true, though. The left libertarians hate her, but they hated her before she said that. That didn't change. So, yeah. Missy says the LP has blood members for a long time now. True. True. Liberty says, my bad. I should have labeled that trigger warning inside LP baseball. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I do get, I wasn't that bad, though. I wasn't that bad. I spent a little time, but I didn't go crazy. So, yeah. Dave says, I stopped giving to the Libertarian Party. So have many people, sadly. Yes. So have many. Mike says, it's actually a good strategy if you don't advertise it ahead of time. Which one? Do you mean the one I said or the one she said? I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't tell which one. I don't know. We'll see. All righty. That Liberty Lady says, so in theory, if Smith or Reck was the nominee in 2024, the plan was for them to drop out. I don't think that was the plan. I think that's the new plan since RFK Jr. I don't think that was her original plan. I do not think so. I think her plan was if Smith ran, that he would just run all the way and make massive impact and be super cool and all that kind of good stuff. I think that was the goal. I think once they saw that, they thought, okay, then now that's the plan. Right? That's what I think. I think that's the plan since RFK Jr. That was not the plan then. So, yes. Okay. Gene says, a wise man said that a strong third party makes better Republicans, Democrats. That's true. That's whoever said that. That guy's pretty smart. That guy's pretty smart. Morgan says 5'10", 175. That's good. That's good weight, good height. You're good, Morgan. Dave says 5'7", 152. Good weight, good height. You guys are good. Larry has said you're good. You're good. Those are good weights. There we go. Matt says, I eat eggs and meat every day. Me too. My typical breakfast is 3 eggs in the morning and 1/3 to 1/2 pound of ground beef and sauerkraut and coffee and water. That's a typical breakfast for me. And I eat breakfast late. I don't eat breakfast until noon. I usually am able to do an intermittent fast. Not always, depends how busy I am, but often I'll do that. So literally, that's my first meal around noonish. And then almost every dinner is some kind of meat, beef or pork. I rarely eat chicken. It's usually beef or pork, and a salad. And a salad with all the greens and all the peppers, onions, lettuce, tomatoes in it. That's usually what I eat. And then water and coffee. All I drink is water and coffee. This is water. I had coffee before I came. I'm very boring when it comes to food. Very boring. Very boring. Anyone who knows me, I do the same stuff. I never go out all the time. I'm very boring. I'm not a foodie at all, which makes it's easier to be keto if you're not a foodie. If you're a foodie, it's tougher to be keto. But I'm not a foodie at all. Like I eat the same stuff every day. I don't care. It's not a thing for me. I don't miss anything. I don't care. Totally fine. So yeah. Anyway, there we go. Let's see here. Shelley says the NLP is a train wreck. National Libertarian Party. Yes. And refuse to take steps to fix it. And I'm sick of hearing people claim that the libertarian side of them thinks, yeah. Agreed. It is tough. It is tough. All righty. Let's see here. Duke of Hacks, thank you for the $2. Can AI make me millions as a carpenter? Yes. 100%. Let me tell you why it can. There's many ways you can do it. If you own your business, the way to market is using AI. You can use AI to do everything. You can use AI to create ads. You can use AI to create people to say things. You can use AI to create your social media presence. You use AI to create a website overnight. So if you own the business, AI for all of your marketing. Easy day, absolutely. Now, whether you own business or not, AI is going to be your apprentice. So you teach AI what you do and how you do it. So when anyone else shows up to work under you, you can give them AI and that becomes your manager. So you can use it right there. Type in what I'm doing. Oh, okay. Oh, do that. Okay. Where are things? How do I do things? 100%. Not just that. If you're a carpenter, assuming that if you are at a level to where you provide some of the ideas to your customer, I don't know if you do or not, but if that's where you are, you can use AI to build up ideas and concepts, right? Say you're building something internally. What's the best way of making it work? What's the best way of finding X, Y, and Z? What's the best way of putting things together? AI will help you with all those things overnight. Not overnight, in minutes, done. So 100%. You do that, you become a better carpenter than the other guy who doesn't want to use AI. If you have your own party, if you have your own company, best way of doing it. You can start your own. If you don't own a company, you can use AI to start your side business, start your side gig. Absolutely. So many ways to use AI as a carpenter. So many ways. So hope that helped. So many ways. All righty. Missy said, I would rather die a tormented death than state my height and weight. I don't know if that's part of the ED culture I came up in or what. That's actually good. Yeah. Well, it's also different. Like men tend to be okay with stating their weight compared to women, right? Men also tend to be less judged. Women tend to be much heavily more judged for their weight, right, than men do. So yes. Andrew says 6 foot and on the opposite end of being overweight. Thanks, Dad. You will find people who are on the body positivity side who will talk about how weight is genetic. A lot of it is. It's true, but not all of it, right? A lot of it is. Not all of it, though. Yes. So Mike has bad knees. Says muscles denser than fat, not heavier. And BMI does actually work for the general population because the general population does not work out. Okay, if you count that, yes, but maybe. The problem is you want to have a system that works for everybody, but maybe. I guess if you're saying most people don't work out, so it works for the people who don't work out. Okay, I could buy that. I could buy that. I could buy that. Yes. Dr. Cameron, I hope that Kenny will break the 5%. Me too. It hurt when he dropped out. Yes. His choice. Agreed. But yes, it did. A lot of people were upset when he dropped out. I was one of them, right? I was absolutely one of those people who got upset when he dropped out. I didn't want it. I did a whole video on it, but it is what it is. Yes. So, all right. Ryan says, liberal arts itself sounds like a waste of 4 years. If this was years ago, no. Right? When few people had a degree, having a degree was valuable. Now, lots of people get degrees, so it isn't as valuable. So, yes. Duke Effect says, Larry, you got to work out to avoid, hold on, sarco, I don't know what that is. Hold on. Now you're going to make me work. Hold on. What is that? It is Oh, it's a skeletal muscle disorder characterized by the loss of muscle mass. Oh, yeah. Okay, true. I don't work out as much as I should. I do work out, but just not as much as I should. And I've never been, if anyone who's known me, I've never been about getting big. I don't want to be like Arnold. It's not my thing. Right? I don't want to be big like that. I just want to be in decent shape and be able to move around and do stuff. So yeah, I agree. Yeah. So I think we have to do that. I agree. Morgan says, how do we get the people who only tune in once every 4 years to become more involved in the political arena year round? Local politics matter. I'm going to tell you. The reason, the way we do that is by popular candidates. That's the key. I bring it up all the time. Popular candidates. That is the answer. That's the only that works. Popular candidates. Get more people to run, which is why I try to run at the top level and then motivate others at the bottom level to move up to run. That's the answer. I was doing it, Morgan. I did it in New York State. We got to do that again. That's the answer. Yes. Lunatic says, I'm 180, 5'9", tank. That's a tank. Yes. I've seen you, brother. You're in good shape. I've seen you. Absolutely. Yes. Mike Hesbany says, I was talking about Angela's strategy. Your plans are a given as being what it is. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that. Yep. All righty. Mike says, old military rule is never to get a tattoo where you can't easily cover it. Yes. Mine isn't. If you notice, my tattoo is high on the arm. I have 4 tattoos, and most have never seen even one. But being the tattooed lady man is unattractive. Excess is about attention. Correct. It is. If you see mine, hold on. See if you guys can. I show it often. Mine is high on the arm. So when I'm wearing my other uniform, you can't see it, right? But when I wear a smaller shirt, you can see it. So I followed your rule, Mike. I made it to where it's not easy to find, right? So that in uniform, when I was in uniform, you couldn't see my tattoos because the shirt comes down to here, so you couldn't see it. So yeah, and when you wore your sleeves, couldn't see it. So I made all my tats you could not. I only have one, but my I made it so you couldn't see it. I agree with you, Mike. That's the better way of doing it. Was that way, but nowadays, I mean, yeah, yes. Shelley says liberal arts used to be a well-rounded education. True. Now it's just whatever's in vogue right now. Yes. Accurate. It doesn't have the same value. Morgan says, we learn together here on Larry on AMAs. You guys love AMA. That's why I do it. I do one a week. I used to not. Now I do. Yes. Duke says, I weighed 4 pounds, 8 ounces once. Not bragging. 8 pounds, 4 ounces? Wow. That was amazing. I have a feeling that wasn't recently, though. That's just my gut. Right? There we go. Joel says, I'm trying to not picture Mike's tramp stamp. He's got one. He showed it to me. He did. And in public, too. He showed it to me in the middle of a diner. Like, Mike, come on now. But, he's trying to get attention. People noticed. It's true. I'm teasing. Of course, Mike doesn't do that. But, I mean, he might have a tramp stamp. I actually don't know. But he did not drop trowel in a diner and show me. He did not do that. That is true. So, yes, there we go. Mastermind says, I wish I could post the picture of the Doge cuts and how they all line up with Musk companies. Is that true? Or are you teasing me? I'm not sure. I don't know. Ryan says, Larry, you're making excellent points in response to my questions. I'm glad. That's the point of doing this, right? Yes, that's the point of doing it. Phil says, the reason why we call them cookies and not biscuits is because of the Dutch. Well, there we go. Yes. Joel says, oh my God, remember when there was a movement to change all the kill names due to violence? Yes. LOL, Cats kill, Normans kill. What? Yes. It's because in Dutch that means river. That's the reason. So it's the Cats River. Right? Arthur kill, Arthur's River. That's what it is. Fish kill, the Fish River. Yes, that's what it is. It's just the river. That's all it means. It's just river. That's all it is. It's just river. So yeah, it's crazy how people get that way. Yes. So there we go. Mastermind says, I heard somewhere that Istanbul was Constantinople. There might be giant rumors though. Constantinople is the actual name, right? But it's the town. Opal, I think, is like town or city, and Constantine. So Constantine's town, Constantine's city. Istanbul is if I remember right, it is a derivation of the town, or in an old Turkish language, an old Turkish tongue that of the Turks who were coming through. They used to call it the town or the business, the something, and it's a derivation of that. So Istanbul means, like in some old Central Asian language, the city. That's what it means. That's how that got changed. So I know, kind of weird, but that's how it actually worked. So in any case, There we go. So, guys, I want to ask you if you could. Mike says, lol, my back tattoo does not go that low. I'm sure Mike, because Mike's a Marine, so he either has an Eagle Global Anchor or a USMC or a Bulldog, because that's how it works. He has one of those three or a combo, but we all have one of those three. I have a USMC. If you're a Marine, you have either a USMC, a Bulldog, or Eagle Global Anchor, or a combo. That's kind of, so Mike has at least one of those three, if not a couple. That's how that works. Guys, I'm going to ask you if you could please click the button known as like. If you enjoy the show, please do that. It matters tremendously. I'm trying my damnedest to keep growing. And I only do it if you guys click the like button. It's the way I get around it. You know I've been shadow banned forever, so please do that. Share this, repost this everywhere you possibly can. I know you guys like the AMAs. I try to keep doing that if at all possible, right? I try to keep doing that to the best of my ability. I keep doing it every week because I know you guys like it. I try to do things that are cultural, that are interesting. And I try to do stuff that is, newsworthy too. But I think cultural to me seems better. You guys know that with the algorithm, please, with Mr. Rhythm, Algo, please comment after the live. Please do that. After the lives, please comment if you would. And I'm going to ask you today, we talked about a lot of stuff today. I'm going to ask you to comment based upon what do you think about skinny talk versus fat talk or fat acceptance. What do you think about it? Do you care about either one of them? Are they valuable? Do they matter? Did you pay attention? Do you care about either way? What do you care about either way? And is it as important as I think it is culturally? I do think it's important culturally. That's why I brought it up. Mike got it. Kim got it right away. What do you think about it? And again, remember, if this is not live, there'll be two videos that'll pop up right here. Please click on one of them. I will not be on tomorrow, but I'll be on Monday. And I will see you all very soon.